the driver's seat a couple videos back, or whatever order you watch these things, if you watch them at all. But I assume you're watching them because you're watching me now, right? Okay. You can hear me, you can see me, therefore you're watching the video. There's really kind of interesting bird sounds here in the Ramble in Central Park right now. Maybe I should be quiet for a minute. And a lot of bird watchers. So this one is called Girls of Slender Means. Girls of Slender Means. And this is from, what was it, the date of it? There's all the volumes. Girls of Slender Means was 1963. So The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie was written in 1960, or published in 1961, and this one is from 1963. The Driver's Seat was from 1970, so this is in between those things. So 1963, and what it is, it's a war story. It goes back to London in between VE Day, victory in Europe of World War II. This is, 1945. So we have victory in Europe, and then it was sometime later that there was victory in VJ Day, victory over Japan, which was, preceded by the two most horrible terrorist acts ever known to man, with the two atomic bombs that were dropped on Japanese citizens in at the end of World War II. Anyway, it's between these two wars, and it's in London, so it's, these people. More interesting bird sounds. These people are, it's about a girls' hostel. It is, there's been bombing going on all around them. Actually, there's a hole in the backyard where a bomb was been removed that didn't go off by the bomb squads. So bombs and unexploded bombs, and is part of the story. So it's this place that young women live. There are two older spinsters who live there, who are never going to get married, and there are a bunch of young women who are workers, so forth, who are in their late teens, 20s, and this is kind of a way station, a part of their life. And ultimately they were safe throughout the war in this place because it didn't get bombed. And we meet many of the girls. It starts out kind of slow. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be into this one or not, with the, meeting all these girls, but it really takes off, and she, Ms. Spark, really delivers in the end of this really fabulous, like 100-page novella. There's a couple of men that get introduced as well, who are kind of around the circle. One of the main characters is this woman who is Jean, I think Jean, who is working for a publisher, like a kind of a low rent publisher, and there's this guy who's writing a book called The Sabbath Book. The Book of the Sabbath, whatever, who a younger man who is around the scene, and she becomes friends with him. She's supposed to, the publisher kind of recruits her to find out about him. And anyways, he's writing this book, and they can bring men to the house for dinner every once in a while. So he becomes part of their little scene there, as well as a couple other men that the women pick up along the way. So there is a really just sort of cool symbol and metaphor going on in the whole thing. That there is a roof that they can get. It's a big building, like 5 stories or whatever, and there's a roof that can be accessed, or it used to be able to be accessed by a passage, a door in the ceiling that has been bricked up after some dude got in there sometime in the past, before we enter this story here. So that they can't get to the roof that way anymore. But one of them figures out that they can get to the roof through a little window, but it's only like so big, so only the really thin women can get through this window to the flat roof on the outside. And so there's all this stuff about them using whatever lubricant they might have, like cold cream or margarine, to while this is wartime and everything's kind of rationed, to lube themselves up at nude to get through this window into the outer world. So it becomes this really fabulous metaphor for really this kind of womb-like atmosphere that these young women are living in, this kind of really pre-life atmosphere, and this window that some of them can get through to meet a man outside, for instance, and have sex on the roof, to get out into the world. I mean, it's not like they're in prison there, but somehow this metaphor pulls into the story. And it's just really, really well handled and really a lot of fun. Somebody ultimately gets stuck in the window, can't get in or out, and is all panicky, and so all that evokes when you get stuck in something like that, or trying to go through a passage, or spelunking. What is it called when you investigate caves? The kind of claustrophobic, sort of scary kind of thing. So it's a great story. I'm not going to tell you what happens, because I think you should really read this novel, because it's kind of wonderful. But there is a thing that evokes wartime now. Actually, the cluster bombs that we've delivered unto Ukraine for that idiotic war effort, and how that a lot of them just don't go off and are discovered. These little things that come out of this big thing, all these little bombs that go all around and then blow up on their own, if it works out right. But often they don't. Some sort of percentage of the ones that don't, and then 10, 15 years later, some kid picks, oh, that's this, and blows his hand off, or whatever. It is about, it has that kind of thing with wartime, and how the dud bombs might be able to go off. So that was really good. The two spinsters have a very brief conversation about sex and love, and like they say, well, if you've never had it, you won't miss it, one of them says, and the other one says, yeah, well, but you still kind of miss something, and so it was kind of this real brief sort of chatter that was really quite interesting. It's a very rich novel, really well written. completely enjoyed it ultimately, and I really recommend all the slender, all the slender young girls. Girls of Slender Means. Girls of Slender Means by Muriel Spark. And it's really good.